Click, watch, and win an HD TV. Enter at newschannel5.com.
I'm Jeff Glore. Iraq blast. As Tony Blair visits Baghdad, former President Carter criticizes both the British Prime Minister and President Bush. Party divide. This week's compromise on immigration policy has Republicans fighting with each other. On top of the world, a teenager becomes the youngest American to conquer Mount Everest. And a simple tribute. On this Armed Forces Day, America's buglers answer the call.
This is the CBS Evening News.
Good evening. We begin tonight in Iraq, where the U.S. is holding out hope at least 2 of 3 American soldiers kidnapped last weekend are still alive. 5 other U.S. soldiers have been killed in attacks yesterday and today. And visiting British Prime Minister Tony Blair came under verbal attack from former President Jimmy Carter. Mark Strassman has more from Baghdad.
This may still be a search for the living, even in a place known as Iraq's Triangle of Death. 3 U.S. soldiers remain missing, but America's top commander in Iraq has raised hopes. General David Petraeus told the Army Times at least 2 of them were probably still alive, but again, we just don't know. But Petraeus gave no details or proof. This search is now in its 2nd week. Soldiers like Sergeant Robert Begley have been tireless, but so far, luckless.
I wanted to find a good end. I wanted to be able to find our soldiers alive.
A good end. Tony Blair believes it's still possible for Iraq. In Baghdad for his last visit as British Prime Minister, driven from office by his unpopular support of the U.S. stance on Iraq, Blair brought a reassuring message for Iraqi leaders.
The policy that I pursued is a policy for the whole of the government, so even when I leave office, I'm sure that steadfast support will continue.
But 3 mortar rounds rocked the compound where Blair met with those leaders. 1 person was injured. And Blair was also blasted on British radio by former President Jimmy Carter.
Abominable, loyal, blind, apparently subservient. And I think that the almost undeviating support by Great Britain for the ill-advised policies of President Bush in Iraq have been a major tragedy for the world.
The threats.
Blair's office wouldn't respond to Carter's criticism, but it was one of those days. Ominous sounds follow the Prime Minister wherever he went. In the southern city of Basra, he sat down with British soldiers. Suddenly outside, everyone heard this. Once again, the Prime Minister was in an area under attack. In Basra, 2 mortars exploded during Blair's visit. No one was hurt. Those attacks are almost routine both there and here. But Tony Blair insisted Iraqi security is improving. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Baghdad.
Former President Carter expanded on his criticism of President Bush in an Arkansas newspaper today, accusing him of failures in Middle East diplomacy, nuclear disarmament, and environmental protection. In Mr. Carter's words, I think as far as the adverse impact on the nations around the world, this administration has been the worst in history. Joining us to talk about former President Carter's critique is presidential historian Douglas Brinkley. Welcome to you.
Thank you for having me.
How unusual is it for a former president to criticize a sitting president in this way so severely?
Well, they usually try not to, but Jimmy Carter has broken all the rules as ex-president in a positive way with Habitat for Humanity and election monitoring and disease eradication. But periodically, he goes and gives a whack at his Republican opposition, and in this case, he's been a critic of the Iraq War for some time. This just happens to be, I think, his most stinging remark to date.
The potential impact of these comments?
Well, you know, Jimmy Carter's now a Nobel Peace Prize winning former president. He's beloved around the world. Certainly a lot of Americans will be disgruntled about it. Others will think that he's simply a truth teller, telling what a lot of people have been saying, that the President Bush is not going to be ranked very high as president. But the part that's of more concern is that he went on to criticize Tony Blair with some very harsh language, and I think that's going to really stick to Blair. To have Jimmy Carter squaring off with Tony Blair is going to be made a big deal in the British tabloids.
Words like abominable and blind to describe British Prime Minister Tony Blair, were you personally surprised to use such harsh language?
Well, yes. But President Carter has been very upset at the war in Iraq. He disdains the Bush doctrine. And what he's saying is that there was an opportunity for Great Britain to have stood up to President Bush, and he didn't. You know, many of Tony Blair's critics have called him Bush's poodle. In essence, that's what Jimmy Carter's calling him also. And I think you're almost going to have some kind of response from Tony Blair to Jimmy Carter, because he's not just a partisan Democrat, Jimmy Carter. He's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, loved around the world. And so I think it's going to demand some response. So they're both in the fighting ring here for a few days.
Douglas Brinkley, thank you.
Thanks.
President Bush today launched a major effort to save the immigration bill that goes to the Senate floor on Monday. Hailed as a bipartisan triumph just 2 days ago, there are signs tonight the bill's toughest challenge will come from Mr. Bush's own conservative Republican base. Joey Chen is on Capitol Hill tonight.
So much for the celebration. At a rally just hours after lawmakers announced a breakthrough immigration deal in Washington, activists thought momentum was on the side of a major reform effort. An unlikely mix of Democrats and Republicans appeared ready to hand the president a big win on a key domestic policy issue. But the bipartisan goodwill began to unravel almost immediately. And by this morning, the president had to acknowledge lawmakers in both parties have serious doubts.
I realize that many hold strong convictions on this issue, and reaching an agreement was not easy.
The White House didn't even have a chance to make its case before conservatives were already fighting back about this.
Conservatives are outraged over what they see as amnesty, provisions that would put many undocumented workers on track towards citizenship. It's a red meat issue for Republican presidential candidates eager to sign up conservative voters. Mitt Romney, who favored easing immigration rules as governor of Massachusetts, today found a receptive audience for his new message.
We should call it the A visa, because it's amnesty, and that's what that stands for.
Possible contender Newt Gingrich was quick to stake out his position.
If I were president, I would veto the bill that was described the other day. I think that bill is absolutely impossible.
And behind closed doors on Capitol Hill, tensions are at fever pitch. A face-off between two key Republican senators, John Cornyn and John McCain, got so heated, McCain reportedly lobbed a barnyard epithet at his Senate colleague, and later admitted the deal isn't done.
It's difficult and it's long and it's hard, and I expect some bitter fights on the amending process on the floor of the Senate.
But the president really wants a win here, and we're told by the White House today that the White House has put all hands on deck to try to win over any reluctant senators, Jeff.
Joey, why does he want this so badly?
Well, bear in mind, he is going into the twilight of his second term. He wants to go out with a win. But with Democrats so firmly getting control up here, most of his signature issues, Social Security reform, tax reform, even his education reform, these things are either out of the way entirely or at least on the ropes. Immigration reform may be his last best chance.
Joey Chen, thank you. It is the ultimate summit for a climber, Mount Everest, the world's highest peak. It's in the Himalayas, and it's the ultimate test for mountaineers. This week, an 18-year-old girl made it to the top, the youngest American to do so. Michelle Miller has more.
Read her blog, and you'll discover Samantha Larson is a classical musician, a dancer, and a scholar. As of this week, she's also the youngest American to scale the summit of Mount Everest. Thursday, along with her dad, David, the 18-year-old from Long Beach, California, climbed the world's tallest peak. At 29,000 feet, she phoned home.
My mom asked how she was, and she said, well, I'm tired. And
her older brother says it was the dream of her lifetime.
She has an incredible amount of determination and perseverance, and once she sets her mind to something, it always gets done.
Samantha's now climbed all of the elusive 7 summits, the highest mountains on each continent, including Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania and Elbrus in Russia. She joins an exclusive club.
It's amazing at any age.
Phil Urschler knows that thrill. The first American to scale the north face of Everest in 1984. He's written several books, the latest with his wife Susan, his climbing partner.
I would bet if you asked Samantha and her father, they would tell you they were in this together. It wasn't one of them summiting or the other. They wanted to take that final step to the top of the world together.
Everest is perilous. While more than 2,000 have reached its peak, over 200 have died trying. Samantha put off her freshman year at Stanford to climb Everest.
I think she's always going to be doing exciting things.
Her next feat? Making it back to the East Coast in time for her brother's college graduation. Michelle Miller, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, as fighting continues in the Mideast conflict, is the U.S. supporting the winning side?
Fast-acting Roundup. So effective, it even beats the weather. Roundup kills to the root and works so fast, nothing can stop it, not even the rain. So weeds go down and stay down, guaranteed. Roundup. Faster, better, rainproof.
We're having the time of our lives. We're healthy, and we got Medicare supplement insurance for when we're not. And you should see the look on the kids' faces when we pull up in this thing.
Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company. Insure life. Begin today.
Go! Life with diabetes, it's about going for it. That's why my new Contour has all the stuff I need to get it done right in just 5 seconds.
The new Contour is the most complete meter yet, with results in just 5 seconds. So getting more just got easier. That's easy accuracy, answered by Bayer.
Millions of people watch me cook, but I watch what I eat. Still, when my doctor checked my cholesterol, it was slightly higher than we'd like. We talked about statins, a good option. For me, he chose Zetia. It works differently. Statins work mainly with the liver. Zetia works in the digestive tract like some other medicines. But Zetia is unique in the way it helps block the absorption of cholesterol that comes from food. Zetia, along with a healthy diet, lowered bad cholesterol by an average of 30 points. That's 18%. It complements what I'm already doing.
Zetia may not be right for people who have ever had liver problems, are nursing or pregnant, or may become pregnant. Your doctor will decide if Zetia is right for you. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect and should be reported to a doctor right away. Common side effects included tiredness and stomach pain.
3, 2. Cooking healthy. Ask your doctor if Zetia is right for you. Zetia, a different way to help fight cholesterol.
I have COPD with chronic bronchitis, which makes it hard to breathe. But now that I'm breathing better with Advair, I can cheer my grandson to victory.
For people with COPD with chronic bronchitis, great news. Advair helps significantly improve lung function. While nothing can reverse COPD, Advair is different from other medications because it's the only product with an anti-inflammatory and a bronchodilator working together to help you breathe better. Advair won't replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms and should not be used more than twice a day. Lung infections, including pneumonia, have been reported with Advair. Taking Advair may increase your risk for osteoporosis and some eye problems. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking Advair, and ask about the risks and benefits of continuing Advair after 6 months.
Thanks for coming, Grandpa.
I wouldn't have missed it. Ask your doctor how Advair helps improve lung function for better breathing.
Find out how to get your first full prescription free at advaircopd.com.
We've spent billions beefing up the Coast Guard since 9/11. So why are all these boats considered worthless? 60 Minutes investigates tomorrow.
Israel launched new airstrikes on Gaza today as Palestinian factions called a ceasefire, hoping to avoid a civil war. As Alan Pizzi reports, it's a local conflict that involves the whole Middle East and the U.S. as well.
The gunmen are still on the streets, but a ceasefire allowed Gaza residents to come out from homes where they have been cowering for 9 days. They are caught between two warring groups, the hardline Hamas, which refuses to recognize Israel, and Fatah, which is aligned with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. Adding to the volatile mix, the Israelis and the U.S. are backing Fatah. Israeli missile strikes have hit only Hamas targets, and the Israelis have made it clear they want Fatah to come out on top. They even allowed 500 Fatah fighters trained in Egypt to return to Gaza. The Israelis deny supplying weapons or money to the Fatah gunmen, but the U.S. has earmarked $59 million for training and equipment. Washington refused to recognize the government Hamas formed after they won elections last year. By taking to the streets of Gaza, Hamas has sent a message that they are the faction with whom everyone must deal, whether they like it or not.
Only in the Middle East
could you have the most powerful regional military power, Israel, backed by the greatest superpower in the world, being humbled by a relatively small group of gunmen using relatively primitive weapons?
This surveillance video of a missile fired into Israel by Hamas shows how dangerous those weapons have become. Short of actually reoccupying Gaza, this is about all the Israelis can do to contain the violence and counter homemade Hamas rockets falling on Israeli homes. And no one thinks this is really going to get the job done. The big guns today fired what an army spokesman said were empty shells to calibrate the weapons, backing up a warning that real shells might be next. Hamas responded by firing an anti-tank missile at an Israeli army bulldozer just inside the border and launching more Qassam rockets, another incremental escalation of an already perilous confrontation. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Sderot.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, Tour de France winner Floyd Landis in the hot seat over doping allegations.
This season, replace the feeling of red, itchy, irritated skin fast with the healing feeling of Cortisone 10. It has 10 healing moisturizers plus the strongest itch relief medicine without a prescription. All day, all night, feel the heal of Cortisone 10.
I'm Tracy Durfee, and this is my story. The arthritis in my hand affects everything I do. Picking up a pen, shifting the car, just living your life would sometimes just hurt. I depend on Aleve. I can get through my everyday without being in pain. I take the Aleve and I keep going.
I have one family, 2 daughters and a mother. The mother has Alzheimer's. We worked with her 2 daughters online, picking out the best plan for her. Her expenses were running $300 to $400 a month, and Medicare Part D would obviously save her money. It's taken a burden off of the daughters for supporting their mother, and everybody's happy right now. I'm Winton Harris, and I'm a CVS pharmacist.
Smart Balance Buttery Spread. See if you agree with us that Smart Balance cooks like butter and tastes like butter without the cholesterol and high saturated fat, with no hydrogenated oil and no trans fat naturally, not artificially as some spreads. Smart Balance has the right balance of fats to help improve cholesterol as part of the Smart Balance food plan, with award-winning taste endorsed by professional chefs. Smart Balance. You're going to love that buttery taste.
You know how it goes. There's your love life. And there's your life. That's why for guys like me with ED, there's Cialis. Cialis is the only erectile dysfunction tablet clinically proven to both go to work fast, in as little as 30 minutes for some men, and work up to 36 hours. With Cialis, I can have the option of being ready fast, or have up to 36 hours to relax, knowing I can be ready when the moment is finally right.
Tell your doctor about your medical conditions and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience priapism, an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
Why ask your doctor about Cialis?
Because life can be full of interruptions. When the moment is right, you can be ready with Cialis.
Senator Specter and Feinstein on the fate of Attorney General Gonzalez, plus military historian Fred Kagan and General Paul Eaton debate the troop surge. Face the Nation Sunday.
Floyd Landis staged an unlikely comeback last year to win the Tour de France. This evening, he's facing another daunting challenge, trying to refute the evidence that his victory was fueled by drugs. Bill Whitaker has more.
Landis has done enough to win the
Almost from the moment American Floyd Landis crossed the finish line, the Tour de France's yellow victory jersey was sullied by rumors of doping, then by test results that indicated he'd used synthetic testosterone to boost his performance. Now Landis is fighting the U.S. anti-doping agency to save his title and clear his name.
We're looking forward to the whole world seeing what the details are.
At this Malibu arbitration hearing that could determine whether he has a future in cycling, his attorneys tried to recover from a week of sometimes devastating testimony. Professional cyclist Joseph Papp said, like many cyclists, he felt he couldn't win without using performance-enhancing drugs because so many others were doping.
At the time, I felt I didn't have an option to be able to compete in the sport that I loved at the level that
I competed at previously.
The hardest blow to Landis' case came from former Tour de France winner Greg LeMond, who spoke with Landis shortly after last year's race.
And what was his response to you encouraging him to come clean? He said, what good would it do?
LeMond said the night before his testimony, an anonymous caller had threatened to reveal a painful secret, that he had been molested as a child by his uncle. It was a secret he had once told Landis.
And I said, who is this? This is your uncle, and I'm going to be there tomorrow.
When the call was traced, it turned out to have come from Landis' manager, Will Gagan. He was immediately fired by Landis, who called the incident disturbing and abhorrent. The Tour de France is still struggling to get out from under the drug-induced scandal that tarnished last year's race.
Since then, the sport of cycling has been going downhill. Corporate sponsors have backed away. In Europe, races have been canceled. TV viewership has plummeted.
We're getting a look inside of cycling. And I think it's a sport that is in desperate need of recovery.
Floyd Landis insists he won the Tour de France fairly and cleanly. But when it comes to arbitration hearings, the U.S. anti-doping agency has never lost. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Coming up on tonight's CBS Evening News, a tribute to courage and honor on this Armed Forces Day.
Are you like me? I have high blood pressure and I have high cholesterol. Sometimes problems come in twos, but sometimes help can come in one. Catawit.
Catawit contains the leading branded blood pressure medicine Norvasc and Lipitor, the leading branded cholesterol medicine combined in one pill, Catawit.
Catawit is one of many treatment options I discussed with my doctor. Ask your doctor if Catawit's right for you. Along with diet and exercise, one pill doing two jobs for me. My doctor said Catawit's not for everyone. It's not for people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. To check for liver problems, you need simple blood tests. Tell your doctor about any heart problems and all other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. For blood pressure and cholesterol lowering benefits, it's Catawit. One pill, two medicines. Makes sense to you, makes sense to me. Ask your doctor if Catawit's right for you.
The Astelin?
It could be allergies getting to you, but irritants can cause your symptoms too.
Astelin is seasonal allergy medicine, also approved for nasal symptoms caused by irritants. Nasonex, Singulair, and Zyrtec aren't.
Astelin's for people 12 and over. Most common side effects may include bitter taste, headache, nasal inflammation or burning, and drowsiness.
Don't let allergens or irritants do you in.
Ask your doctor about
Astelin. Blue sky smiling at me. Nothing but blue sky.
Today, there's a fuel that, when paired with advanced diesel engines, will help reduce truck emissions by 90%. And that means bluer skies and cleaner air for all of us. Introducing new ultra-low sulfur diesel. From the people who bring you oil and natural gas. Learn more at energytomorrow.org.
Need relief from constipation? Take Dulcolax and sleep on it. Dulcolax works during the night to give you gentle, effective relief of your constipation the next morning. Dulcolax has a special comfort coating that protects your stomach so it works right where it's needed for gentle overnight relief. Guaranteed. And you're back to your natural self in the morning. Dulcolax. Gentle, predictable relief.
What if your home and office were thousands of miles apart? Monday, the amazing new system that could change the way you go to work forever. On the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Today is the third Saturday in May, Armed Forces Day, a day to honor Americans serving in the military. And on this Armed Forces Day, a special tribute to all Americans lost in the line of duty.
They are 24 notes, known simply as taps. 24 notes as familiar to Jim Miller as his heartbeat.
I've been playing at funerals since 1991, but I've done about 260.
A month ago, Miller was stationed in Afghanistan, an intelligence analyst for the Navy, and also a bugler,
called into service to honor the lost.
Most families keep it together during the actual funeral service, but when they play taps, almost to a person, they break down and cry.
He's home just in time to honor all who served. Part of a tribute called Echo Taps. On this Armed Forces Day, at exactly 11 o'clock, horn players, one after the other, played those 24 notes at every national cemetery. It's the brainchild of veteran Thomas Day, himself a bugler who has played at more than 5,000 military funerals.
It's an honor. We're honored to pay that respect, to give that last piece of music, that going away song, to that veteran.
With so many funerals, veterans and active duty personnel, 1,800 a day, buglers are in high demand. Recordings of taps sometimes must substitute for live performances. Hoping to inspire more musicians to volunteer, Day started Echo Taps in New York in 2005. Buglers lined 42 miles of road between two national cemeteries. The Veterans Administration helped orchestrate the national event to draw even more attention to the shortage. 3,000 were expected today, some making their debut.
They said, I have to do something at the funeral. I'm going to learn how to play. So we've had many people pick up a bugle and begin to learn.
They played in all 50 states and Australia, France, and Luxembourg. In Alexandria, Virginia, Jim Miller played those 24 notes, as he has so many times before.
It means that you're not forgotten, that your service in the military meant something, that people have respected you, and it will give you that honor.
Next year, Thomas Day hopes to bring Echo Taps to Washington, D.C., linking all of the city's war memorials with buglers playing taps. We'll be back.
Oh, what a perfect day. Oh no, nasal allergy congestion strikes again. It's everywhere, outside and in. Prescription Nasonex helps relieve congestion and other nasal allergy symptoms. Maybe that's why 6 million people used Nasonex last year.
Side effects were generally mild and included headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
For congestion and other nasal allergy symptoms, ask your doctor about Nasonex.
Fast-acting Roundup. So effective, it even beats the weather. Roundup kills to the root and works so fast, nothing can stop it, not even the rain. So weeds go down and stay down, guaranteed. Roundup. Faster, better, rainproof.
In Maryland today, a photo finish in the 132nd running of the Preakness. Curlin, who was third in the Kentucky Derby, came on in the home stretch to overtake Derby winner Street Sense in the last few strides. So Curlin wins the Preakness by a head or a nose. That is the CBS Evening News for tonight. Tomorrow on Sunday morning, a special broadcast all about design. Then on Face the Nation, Senators Arlen Specter and Dianne Feinstein. I'm Jeff Glor, CBS News in New York. Good night.
Our homes, our cars, even our bodies. Design matters this Sunday morning.
CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
What are we doing this Memorial Day weekend? What we always do, right? Only this time, we're going to love it even more than we did last year. Well, except Dad, maybe. The guy needs to sleep. But everyone else, we're rocking. And we've got everything we need to do it right from Academy. The gear, the games, the clothes. Oh, yeah, and Dad's hammock. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, cool weekend. Again.
Across Middle Tennessee, it's been a beautiful day. 77 right now in Murfreesboro. I'll talk about if we'll see temperatures that are much the same for tomorrow.
Chained up by his parents and nearly starved to death, a local teen graduates against all odds.
Also tonight, could Bill Frist be replacing the man at the center of an international banking scandal?
Also, what is bringing 40,000 folks downtown this weekend? The news is now.
From your news and information leader, Tennessee's first and only local news in high definition. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
And good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Well, it's that time of year.
High school seniors don their